I think I'm live. Hello, hello. Hi, my name is Candice, and this is Duval Connect Magazine Community Talk. We'll be going live every Wednesday to discuss community events and community topics. So I hope you stay tuned with me here today. I'm going to be discussing some back to school events that's coming up in Jacksonville. Um, and some other topics tonight. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited about tonight's chat. I'm still sharing some things, trying to make sure we get everybody in here. If you don't mind, please sharing this. I'm going to be discussing some community events, some back to school events that's going to be coming up. I'm going to be talking about the Aggie Awards tonight as well. One of our previous cover persons has been nominated for an award. I hope I'm pronouncing the awards right too. It's the Aggie Awards. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be going back over the JTA community meetings that they're having. And we're going to be talking about the school board candidates. Their election is coming up August 18th for you to vote for the next school board district persons. And so we're going to go over the candidates tonight, kind of looked on their pages and their websites so we can kind of go over and discuss them. And then what else? Yeah, we're going to be going back over some things regarding the U.S. Senate seat and Angie Nixon and the latest poll numbers. So, yeah, we got a lot to discuss. Like I said, we'll be here every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll be going live from Duval Connect. If you have events that you would like to submit, you can email me at duvalconnect2020@gmail.com. And also, if you have any topics or conversations, you can email me there as well. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to jump right on in to some back to school events that's going on. I want to kick it off with Jewels of the Future Inc. Their ninth annual back to school party is taking place August 2nd from 12 to 3. That's going to be at 6050 Moncrief Road, Jacksonville, Florida, 32209. So, like, this is their ninth one. So, they've been doing this for a couple of years. And Jewels of the Future Inc. is spearheaded by Diamond Wallace. She's a local young activist there in Jacksonville, Florida. And yeah, I've been following her journey like probably since she was in high school. And even during that time, she was advocating and she was out here speaking up for the community. She was a part of the name changes in the public school system there, the high schools, changing the names of some of the schools. I think she was a part of that or something dealing with the schools. And so they're getting ready to have their ninth annual back to school party. That's August 2nd from 12 to 3. So, parents, you're getting your kids ready for back to school. I know school starts back on the 12th, I heard. So, here's an opportunity. And also, as well, if you're someone and you say, I want to be able to give back, I don't really have kids, or my kids are adults, but I would like to contribute. This is an organization that you can definitely do that to, contribute to. So they have a number here that you can call or text 904-701-8804. So we're not done with the Jewels of the Future. We're not done with them. That is a young girls group. It's a group that empowers young women. Um, they do a lot in the community. They do a lot as far as the environment, and as far as curating young women's development in their personal life, for their education, and for their future. As far as what are they going to do? What are these young girls going to be when they're older? Oh, someone's trying to get in. He's saying the link isn't working. Let me reply back real quick. Let me make sure everything is going well with this, you guys. Give me 1 second. And I know I can send this some type of way. Yeah, here it is. Hopefully this works out. I'm going to try to send him this really quick because I would love to have this guest person on. And so I want to make sure that they get here. StreamYard. Okay. Oh, they messaged me on my phone too. So hopefully they'll get in and everything will work out with that. So I do want to go over some other events. I went over this one. And so let's discuss this, the Aggie Awards. Do you all know about them? Do you all know what this award ceremony is about? Drop down in the chat, in the comment section, if you know anything about the Aggie Awards. So, the Melanated Growers Foundation, they're closing the gap on food equity in Jacksonville, Florida by planning community and school gardens and teaching people how to care for their gardens, giving them advocacy over their food sources. So since 2022, Melanated Growers has planted 5 brand new community gardens, built garden beds for 7 gardens, restored 4 abandoned gardens, and hosted dozens of planting events to educate the community on growing food. Wow. The Melanated Growers Conference is held annually in the month of September to bring growers, learners, and community members together for a weekend of learning, fun, growing, and celebrating. So that's what the Aggie Awards is. They're brought to you by the Melanated Growers Foundation. And so this organization basically goes out and teaches people how to set up their own garden or help them, or they're out here building community gardens. So this award ceremony is basically um, an opportunity to acknowledge different people in the community that's doing these environmental give backs to the community. So they've nominated Diamond Wallace, who mentioned was the founder and president of Jewels of the Future Inc. And that is something that they do in the community. She's been nominated because this is some of the projects that they have. The So Fresh, So Clean Community Cleanup Series. So that happens. The next one they're doing is Sunday, July 26th. So yeah, this week we're spotlighting them, and their So Fresh, So Clean community cleanup series that's going to take place this Sunday, July 26th from 12 to 1:30 at the Lonnie C. Miller Park. So volunteers will come together to help beautify the park by cleaning up litter, identifying high trash areas, assisting with landscaping efforts, and placing no dumping signs to encourage a cleaner, healthier neighborhood. So if you're looking to give back, earn some community service hours, or make a positive impact in the community you live in, you can drop by Sunday, drop by at Lonnie C. Miller Park on Sunday, July 26th from 12 to 1:30 p.m. You can learn more at www.jewelsofthefuture.com. So yeah, I'm excited. Congratulations to Diamond Wallace, for this nomination. And I've been voting to make sure that she gets that. So I'm excited for her. I'm excited for Jewels of the Future and all of the things that they're doing in the community. And so I see that my guest did make it in. Welcome, welcome. I have a few more topics to discuss, and then we'll be moving on to learn more about the school board candidates here in Jacksonville. So there's a couple of more back to school events. I saw them in passing, and I just want to share them. I want to share them out so that families can attend them and get what you need for back to school. I can't believe it either. It's here, it's right around the corner. Um, August 12th, I believe, is when you all will be going back to school. So, August 1st, you can attend this back to school event that's going to be happening on Edison Avenue. So, and if you need any of these flyers that I'm sharing, you can always email duvalconnect2020@gmail.com. And I'm going to make sure that you get them so that the kids can have everything they need when they go back to school. So here's another one. This is the 6th year that this back to school event has taken place. So here's another Saturday. You got Saturday, August 1st, then you got Saturday, August 8th. And this one is going to be at Matthew W. Gilbert Middle School, 1424 Franklin Street. Looks like they partnered up with a lot of organizations. Got JSO on here, United Way, JEA. So should be a nice turnout, should be a lot of good school supplies that the kids will need. Y'all know they put out that list. They put out that list every year letting you know all of the things that the teachers need for the success of the year. And so take advantage. When my kids were younger, I definitely took advantage of these back to school events because they come in handy. They come in handy, so take advantage. I think I got one or two more. Let's see. This one is This is Sunday. So New Life International presents their back to school community day. That's going to be Sunday, August 2nd. And they've also partnered up with a lot of organizations in the community. This is the way to go to do this. A lot of organizations do want to give back. They sometimes don't know how. So if you are a church, if you're an organization or individual that says, okay, well, I would like to be able to give back, you can team up. You can connect with some of these organizations and come together and do it. So this event location is at 6429 Atlantic Boulevard. So I like the fact that these are all on different sides of town. So, if transportation may be a situation or issue for you, looks like there's a few of them out there that are located spread out. So then you can go in and find one located, close to you and try to get there to the back to school event. So if you need a flyer, if you need more information, definitely let me know. You'll see what this one is saying. I think this is my last one that I have. So this is a youth fun day and giveaway. And so this is July 25th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. 1453 West 22nd Street. They're going to have fun and games, food and drinks, water slides, clothing, and shoe giveaway. Okay, so that's new. They're going to have clothing and shoe giveaway. They're going to have the backpack giveaway. They're going to have diapers, pull ups, baby wipes. Okay, so that's what's up, so you can come out to this youth fun day that's at 1453 West 22nd Street. And from 11 to 3, the kids can enjoy some food, some games, pick up their school supplies, maybe pick out some clothes or shoes that's needed. Parents, if you have other kids that are younger, they have diapers, they have pull ups, they have wipes that they're offering to the community. So definitely take advantage. And like I said, if you need to get any of these flyers, if you would like any more information on them, you can definitely email me at duvalconnect2020 at gmail.com. And I'm going to make sure that you get it. I'm going to make sure that you get it. So I'm going to skip a few. I think I wanted to go back over one thing, but I don't see my slide. I'm gonna try to download it before we leave today. Oh, maybe this is it. Yes, I think this is it. Okay, so I had tried to share this last week, but I wasn't able to. JTA is having some community meetings. They're happening throughout the month of July and August for you to come in and share what your thoughts is on the public transportation service. If you feel like there should be bus stops in another area where they're not, you have an opportunity to share that. If you feel like there are issues while you're riding the bus, this is the time that you can share that information, share it with directly to them. So they actually had one today from 4 to 6 at the Highlands Library, but you can catch another one Tuesday, July 28th. That's going to be at the Jacksonville Regional Transportation Center, 100 La Villa Center Drive. So if you need the flyer for this and more information, let me know because they do have some dates in August. And so these are public hearings that will provide another opportunity for residents to speak on the proposed fair Okay, y'all, if you don't care for how much you have to pay to get on that bus, this is an opportunity to share that. Service changes before decisions are made. So, whether your feedback is positive, critical, or somewhere in between, participating in these meetings is one way to stay engaged in the decisions that impact our community. And that's what's most important. It's not enough to sit around the dinner table, chatting on the phone with family and friends, talking about what you don't care for about certain things. We have to make sure those words get to the right people. And then how we address it and how we say it is important, because sometimes buses run late, buses, don't show up sometimes, and people are upset. I see them online talking about it. I've heard people share about it, but that's not enough. That's not enough. So here's the opportunity to go in and be heard. And I'm glad that I got to share that tonight. So govern yourselves accordingly. So I think we kind of moving out of the upcoming events. This is my last event that I'm going to share. And then we're going to be moving into our civics conversation tonight. And so, you guys, Duval County, there's a school board candidate forum getting ready to take place. And I wanted to talk about this because when I was reading the flyer, I said, oh, wow, they're going to have, the high school students be the moderators. And I thought that was really interesting. I really felt like that's a good idea. The school board, all of this is for the students. And it makes sense that they should be involved in some way, shape, or form. And if only to get a better understanding of how the school system runs. So tonight, I did want to go over some of the candidates, and we have a candidate that showed up tonight and wants to share. So I'm excited to allow this person to come up, Clarence James, running for District 6. And so I'm going to bring him up to the stage. How are you, Clarence?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, thank you for joining. I know it was short notice and we had some issues with the link and things, but I'm just so glad that you said you would come on and share some information about your policies.
Sure. Anytime I have an opportunity to connect with our community, that's what I try to take advantage of because that's what I'm running on. Connect, protect, educate. That is my actual platform is connect, protect, educate. So I'm Clarence James. I'm running for School Board District 6, which is the west side. It goes from all the way out to Baldwin, all the way through Jacks Heights, all the way to Argyle to the county line. I was born and raised in Jacksonville. My family's actually fifth generation. My grandmother and my parents and myself and I have children. They graduated from Robert E. Lee High School. I have adult children. My oldest son's a police officer. My next to my oldest is a registered nurse, son, and then my daughter she's works for a bank and also does cosmetology. And then I have a 9-year old that goes to Crystal Springs Elementary, and I have a 14-year-old that goes to Paxton High School, college preparatorial. So I definitely have a vested interest in the school system. I retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as a lieutenant, and I'm currently an active police sergeant with the Duval County School Police Department. So I'm on the
Okay.
front lines every day in our schools, handling the critical incidents and see firsthand what goes on in our schools. And being a police supervisor, I'm over multiple schools. So that's a little bit about myself. I'm excited to be here.
Okay. So I did not know all of these things about you. So I was going to ask you, you said the school police department?
Absolutely. I retired from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office as a lieutenant. Did most of my time on the corrections side, but I was dual certified, both police and corrections. And then after I retired, I actually went to work for the House of Representatives as legislative staff to Kimberly Daniels. and me and
Okay.
Kim are still good friends. And then I transitioned back into law enforcement, and that's where I'm now, and as a police sergeant with the Duval County School Police Department. We have our own separate police department. We have about 130 positions, and those are the police officers that you see in our schools, in our middle schools and high schools mainly every day.
Mhm. Okay. I was able to get this off of here off. I was gonna some people that I wasn't able to come on, I was going to discuss maybe some of the latest things. So I did see that you were endorsed by the Northeast Florida Realtors. Um, so but before I go into that, can you tell me some of the things that you witnessed during the time that you're policing the schools? What are some of the things that you're witnessing?
Well, we have a lot of disruptive in the classroom, a lot of disruptive behavior, a lot of fights. A lot of people don't realize, we're one of the largest school districts in the state of Florida. I think where we were it fluctuates, it's very fluid. So I think we were number six, we're number six in Florida, and I believe we're about 16th throughout the United States. So we're a very large school district. And with a large urban school district like that, we have cumbersome issues. So one of the main issues we do have in the schools is a lot of fights, and we have a lot of disruptive behavior. And we need to get that under control. We got to work harder to get that under control. We can't continue to have, well over 1,500 fights a year and 400 school staff members assaulted a year. We can't continue with that. We've got to get that under control, because I don't care what seed you plant in a garden. If the soil is contaminated, that seed will not grow. So we
Mm.
have to make sure we get the disruptive behavior under control so our teachers can teach, our kids can learn, our parents feel safe when their kids are at school, that our kids feel safe. And
Right,
it makes it very difficult to keep and retain teachers when the environment is that difficult to teach in and to maintain decorum, because we're steady trying to hold teachers accountable to teach our kids and get those math and reading scores up, but it makes it difficult when they're unable to teach because of disruptive behavior.
right, right. So, running for a school board district, is there anything that you can do in regards to policies and things like that to contribute to a solutions for that?
Absolutely. I think I'm an historical candidate. I've been told several times, and you mentioned the realtor's endorsement, and we can get into that. But I'm a rare candidate. They've never had a law enforcement officer wanting to bring a public safety law enforcement perspective to the school board. It's long overdue. Long overdue. You can look at the crime stats. You can look at the incident statistics. They've done nothing but go up. We can't continue to keep going. Um, we've we've got to look at those policies and make sure that we are supporting our teachers and our staff members that are responsible for making sure that policies being followed and disciplines being carried out. We have to do a better job in supporting our principals, supporting our deans, and definitely supporting our teachers. We have to believe our teachers. When our teachers tell us something, unless we can prove them wrong, we have to assume they're telling the truth. We have to trust our teachers and especially our principals. I can tell you numerous incidents where we have not, and as a result, we had worse incidents because we did not trust what the principals telling us, what the deans are telling us, what the assistant principals and the teachers are telling us. So we got to entrust in our staff. And we've got good staff and they work so hard. I tell you, I'm so proud of our staff, how hard they do work for the amount of pay that they receive.
Mhm. Wow. So, what do you think contributes to the lack of trust? When you say trusting them, you mean the parents trusting them when they're, letting them know what their child is doing?
Absolutely. Listen, no, I can assure you, I've never seen a teacher. I've never seen one, and I've been doing this almost a decade. So I mean, total a decade. This time about 7 years on this hitch here, on this time because I worked for the school board from '94 to '96, then went to the sheriff's department and came back to the school board. So I can tell you, there's not a school board member that comes to work every day to just give kids a hard time, or a school staff member to give kids a hard time. So when they're telling you what they're seeing, They're telling you what happened. They're telling you what's going to happen if we don't take action, a certain action. We got to believe them. Parents need to believe them. I know parents don't want to believe that their child is doing wrong or not doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they're kids. And when they get away from their parents, kids are going to be kids. But we have to trust. I'll just give you an example. We've had kids that they got sent to alternative school because they caused major incidents at the school. Social media is a huge problem. That is a topic in itself
Mm.
in our school system with the cell phones. They get on social media, they keep things going, they plan stuff, they plan team takeovers. That's part of social media as well. They do it during school hours, and we work hand in hand with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to get that information out. But they get on social media and they're telling you what they're going to do when they get back to the school. And our staff members are really good. I mean, they're really good at following the kids on social media, see what's going on because they care. And we've had an incidents where they've told, don't send the kid back to the school. There's going to be a major incident. Well, the district has insisted that the principal take the child back to the school. Child gets to the school. Days later, we have huge brawls. Had multiple police had to respond to get it under control. And I won't mention the school specifically, but we have incidents like that, and we have to believe what our staff is telling us. They're the boots on the ground. They're the ears on the, they're making contact with our kids on a daily basis. They know our kids, and our kids talk to our staff. A lot of times, our staff at the schools, a lot of times, are the most positive influence in some of our kids' lives throughout the entire day. And that's just a fact because their home lives are very troublesome, and they have obstacles at home that they're trying to overcome. And a lot of times, the school staff is like their family. So we have to do a better job in supporting our school staff, making policies that we have alternative services that we can provide our kids that need those services. But we got to hold them accountable and hold the parents accountable. And it's not a huge population. You're talking about, we have a saying on the police side that maybe 1% of the kids that commit crimes in the schools need to have need to be arrested or have something done. But that 1%, you can just imagine if you've got one incident in a classroom of 35, one individual that interrupts the entire class, it
Right,
ruins the whole day for kids and teachers, especially
right.
if it's a violent incident. So we got to get those test scores up. We got to be able to keep and retain teachers, and getting the behavioral problem, the violence out of the schools, the behavior problems. We've got to get that under control.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. Um, I graduated from Wolfson High School,
Great
and
school, good school.
yes, great school. But I live in Pasco County now,
Okay,
and um, one of our latest issues was our magazine issues was dealing with the young people, addressing the youth. A lot of organizations was contributing, and I did have some conversations with some people on the education side and teachers and administrators. So some of what you're saying, I guess it transcends, county lines and goes beyond county lines because I hear some of the same things, basically, and one area of the magazine, the main area, we were really speaking to the parents, because I mean, I don't want to say they don't know because I'm pretty sure they know their children, they know their child and things like that. But like you said, when they're out of their parents' eye, they may be different, So I don't know. Are there any avenues for parents to get involved?
and that we do need to create more avenues, and it's hard. A lot of our parents are single mothers, and they're struggling trying to raise young men,
Mm.
and it's hard to raise kids in today's society as it is. We
Right,
had a we had a program. I tell you, I'm glad you asked that question because we had a program uh, several years back. It's probably been 10, 15 years now. It was called the Mars program. managing at-risk students, and
Okay.
it was a great program. What it was is it wasn't mandatory for the troubled youth to be involved. I say troubled youth, but an at-risk youth. And what it did is it targeted youth that they met a certain criteria. Let's say your GPA is not high enough, you've been suspended 3 times. There were certain elements that caused you to come up and say, "Hey, this is a good youth to be in this program." And what it did is a police officer, the school resource officer, committed to meeting with this student 1 hour a week, just 1 hour a week. Just, hey, how's it going? Just somebody to mentor them. And and it was the statistics on that program was a very good program. I think they did away with it because of funding reasons. Then there was some concerns about targeting targeting certain groups of kids,
Okay.
and but it's not targeted. It's whatever the numbers are, they are.
Right.
I'd much rather catch a kid early and give them some mentorship and give them, because like I tell you, sometimes we are the most positive influence in that child's life a lot of
Yeah,
times.
I believe
People don't realize that, so
I believe that. I do. I think, um, there must be, like you said, a larger conversation because it's a lot of contributing factors. The the internet, social media, phones, technology, all of those things contributing. But nevertheless, I would still love to hear more of your policies and things that you have planned for when you're in office.
and I would love to do a lot more with getting the cell phones out of the schools, even if it was putting them in the locked bag, the magnetic locked bag. I've heard that we've got some schools throughout different districts that use that, where you have to put your phone in the locked magnetic bag. It's sealed the entire day. At the end of the day, it's got a special booth you go to and it unlocks your phone. You take it home. A lot of your um, a lot of your entertainment events are now doing that. When you go to concerts and stuff, thousands of people have to lock their phones in this bag. You keep possession of your phone, but you just don't have access for usage during the event because they don't want you
Got
recording the event. So
Right.
because I can assure you, about on our any violent incident we have, there probably I'm lowballing it. Well, 80%, at least 80% has a social media element to it.
Mm,
Somewhere there was disagreements on social media. It was hyped on social media, uh, and so forth. Video and fights, all kind of different stuff. So threats being on social media, that kind of stuff. So I would love to do a better job in getting those phones out of the schools. And we
right.
talk about charter schools. I really, when I was in school, we didn't have charter schools was not a big thing. I'm 54 years old, and my oldest is 35 years old. And when they were in school, charter schools weren't a big issue. So charter schools for me is fairly new. So learning about charter schools and touring some of the charter schools, that is one of the main things that they do. You don't have your cell phone with you during the day, and it eliminates a lot of the problems.
So
So,
why haven't that been established for public schools?
and that's a good question, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running. I
Okay.
think that it's a very hot topic. I don't know if they want to take that task on, because I know it's a hot topic. When they passed the new legislation this past year, where um, middle school kids can't use their phone during the day at all. High school kids now can use their phone only in between classes. They can't use them during class, and that's caused problems. Teachers
Mm,
have tried to enforce the policy/law, and we've had teachers assaulted as a result of that.
yeah, I can
So
imagine. I can
yes,
yeah.
so so that's we need a strong member on the school board that's willing to bring those issues up, can tell you the stories, why we need to change the policies. And I'm that school board member. I'm the school board member, and I'm willing to take on those tough issues.
Okay. Well, let's circle back to this photo here of the Northeast Florida Realtors. endorsing you? What did you have to say about that?
Well, number one, it's a big honor because I will tell you that I did not anticipate getting the endorsement of the Northeast Florida Realtors Association of Realtors. I got called day before my interview was scheduled, and said, "Hey, are you going to interview?" And I really didn't plan on interviewing. One of my opponents is a realtor, and I
Okay.
figured that that opponent would be a shoe in, for it. It would kind of be like an opponent getting the fraternal order police endorsement because I'm endorsement of fraternal order police, the Jacksonville firefighters, and State Attorney Melissa Nelson, the state attorney here.
Mhm.
So I went ahead and I interviewed. It was a very large panel, all realtors. I did my interview and I left. And several days later, I got called and said, "We're endorsing you." And I told them I was really surprised and I was honored. And I was told that because of my message and my passion to get the violence out of the schools, people know about the violence in our public school system here in Duval County. And they said that they haven't seen a candidate like me. They did a lot of research on me, and they couldn't find a candidate anywhere that had my experience that was willing to honestly take the pay cut because it's going to be a pretty substantial pay cut for me to go from police sergeant to school board. And they told me that they really believed in my message. And I'm pretty knowledgeable on budget issues, and so forth as well. Tax referendum, I've been elected to the police union for about 25 years. So through the union, I've represented police officers in a huge department for 20 of those years. I still represent them as well as the school police. So you have to stay on top of government and budgeting and being able to ferret through budgets and find where money is and where money should be. So and how things are budgeted and where you can move money, what allows you to move money from one pot of money to another, because people think that you can just move money as you want to and you can't. So they was impressed with me, and I ended up getting the endorsement. So I'm honored with that endorsement. I've got many, many, many endorsements, but that is a very honorable endorsement that I received. Thank you for
Okay.
asking about that. Thank you for asking about that.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I was doing just a little bit of light research, just looking into everyone and finding ways to reach out to you all, So I did run across that and I said, okay, well, if you weren't able to come up, this was something I would speak on because, you know, when you're endorsed by a large group of people, that's big. And that accounts for a lot of people saying they're willing to vote for you and that they're backing you. So, hey, this is what we were this is what I was gonna talk about. So but as far as the forum that's getting ready to come up, how do you feel about it?
You know, I'm one of the few candidates that have attended forums. I mean, school board race, as everyone knows, is a nonpartisan race. It's
Mhm.
supposed to be nonpartisan. It's supposed to be nonpartisan for a purpose. And I'm one of the few candidates that's attended, I call forums from both sides of the aisle. That's what I like to say, um, because I feel that I am the best candidate, obviously, or I wouldn't be running. But a nonpartisan race is perfect for me because being in law enforcement for 32 years, we're as nonpartisan as it gets. When you call 911 or you call for our help, I don't care what lifestyle you live. I don't care what race you are. I don't care if you're rich or poor. I'm coming just as fast for you as anyone else. And that's why I think that I'm the best candidate because I've been living it and breathing it for 32 years of my career. I'm running because we have to come together. Listen, we can live together as we can live as a city, or we can come together as a community for our children and talk things and work things out. So I'm honored to go to that to be asked to go to that forum. I went to a JPEG forum, I think last month. I've attended the Republican Liberty Caucus Forum, which is a
Okay.
much more conservative forum. You know, held my own and had a lot of people in the room come up to me and said they were supporting me after because I know my platform very well and I'm very passionate on my platform. So I'm looking forward to going to the forum. I went to the JPEG forum a couple months ago and was very welcomed with open arms. Everybody didn't agree with me, but it was okay. We're able to have a meeting and talk about things, and we can agree to disagree and still get valuable work done for our children on behalf of our children.
Well, I really wish I could attend. I honestly was checking to see if they would make it virtual because then I would try to at least tune into it. But I'm going to see if there's some people there in Jacksonville that will be willing to go, so that we can cover it afterwards and share it on our blog.
Sure, sure.
So I do see that there's three, candidates for your district. Is there
That's
more,
right.
or is this just the three that's on the form
No, there's five. I have five. There's five candidates total.
for your
I'm
district?
Yes, ma'am. For my
Okay,
district, we have five. We have five candidates,
okay, okay.
and I think
Mhm.
we got what Robert Stafford and Michelle Petty and me for this
Mhm.
forum here. Correct? Isn't that
Right.
who's? Yeah.
Yes.
And the other two candidates is Lindsay Denmark and Timiot Thomas, I believe. But
Okay.
they may confirm when it gets closer to the event. I don't know, which would be nice. So
Right. Yeah. I did see that. I said, well, yeah, you're right. Jacksonville is bigger, so it makes sense that it would be, a lot of candidates. I'm in a smaller county, so it's not like that. But
sure,
so I just want to put this information out there. I would love, if the other candidates would come on and just speak, to the community, just so people can know, and have some sense of something when they're going into the voting booth, so, and that's August 18th, right?
yes, ma'am. And early voting starts August 7th.
Okay, August 7th for early voting. Well, how can people follow you and connect with you to learn more about your policies?
Well, they can go to electclarencejames.com is my webpage, and I'm on Facebook, Clarence James for School Board District 6.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming up tonight. I truly appreciate it. I'm going to follow up with you because I would like to put out a blog post, and
Sure.
so I will follow up with you, maybe with one or two additional questions and things like that. So, but I appreciate you coming up. I'll be going live every Wednesday. This is the second show, and you're the second guest. And but I'll be going live every Wednesday. So from here on out, I'll send you an invite. And
Thank
anytime
you.
you want to come up and share, you're more than welcome.
Hey, thank you. And you have a great evening, and I'll have to be listening to your show more often. Yep, in the
Yes,
future.
please share it with everybody. I'm trying to
Yeah.
let you know I'm coming out here in Jacksonville, back out
Okay. Okay.
again with community talk. I did it years ago. It was a couple of us. And so I'm doing it in
Okay.
Pasco on Thursdays,
Okay.
but fall will be Wednesdays.
All right. Well, thank you, and you have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. All right, you guys. Well, that was what's up. That was nice. I appreciate Clarence James for coming up here to share. Like I said earlier, he'll be a part of this forum along with other candidates from various districts. They're going to be yeah, having a forum talking about their policies, and that way you can hear everybody. I like the fact that they're doing this. It's all going to be in one place. That way you get to hear what each person's policies are and how they plan to govern that seat for school board. And so I did want to share a few things about the school board seats. Give me one second. Let's see here. You know what I think I'm going to do is take a quick little break. And these are some of the events and things that we've gone over, and then a little bit about uh, Duval Connect. So I'll be right back and we'll start our civic. I think it knocked me out again, you guys. StreamYard does this at least once a stream. At least I was able to get through the chat, the little talk I just did with Clarence without it doing this. So StreamYard, nah, I'm not gonna be paying a bunch of money for you if you're gonna be doing this. This is a no. So welcome back. We're in the second part. Yeah, it was 7:55. So we're doing good time. We're in our second part of the show, which is our Civics Corner. And I want to go into a little bit more detail about the purpose of the school board. What does the school board do? So the Duval County School Board is responsible for governing the public school district. School board members represent specific districts but make decisions that impact every public school student in Duval County. School board members work together to set district policies and long term goals, approve the school's district budget, and oversee how tax dollars are spent. Hire, evaluate, and when necessary, replace the superintendent. Help determine academic priorities and student achievement goals. Make decisions about school safety, facilities, transportation, and district operations. Listen to parents, students, teachers, and the community when making these decisions. So that's the purpose of the school board, you guys. When you're voting the person into whatever district or whatever seat, this is what they're going to be tackling. So they have to set policies and set long-term goals. They have to be future minded. They have to have a vision for the school system and how it's going to run. So be mindful of that at this forum when you're listening to the candidates speak. They're going to be approving the district's budget and overseeing how the tax dollars are being spent. Now, that budget is a big deal. I don't know about in Jacksonville, but here there's been a couple of schools shutting down. That may not be an issue there, but who knows. So that budget, I believe, is going to be covering like the teachers' pay, you know, um, repairs for the schools, I'm sure, newer things that may be needed, newer technologies, or how that's going to look in the future. So it's probably a lot coming down the pipeline because there's been some changes since COVID. So we'll see how that those things play out. So that's the purpose of uh, the school board. So I do want to talk a little bit more about some of the candidates, and I was hoping I had some other things on here. I don't. Okay, here it is. I just want to be able to make you all aware of um, the people that's going to be at this forum. I don't have information on all the candidates. He Clarence basically let me know of two additional candidates for his district. So for this forum, District 2, there will be Terrence Myers and Donna Westridge. They represent District 2. District 4 will be Rhodesia Butler, Dr. Gracie Bell, Kirsty McCalster, Costler. And then for District 6, Clarence James, Robert Stafford, and Michelle Petty. And so I did get a little bit of information about some of these people. So I'm gonna pull up a few things. Dr. Gracie Bell, she's in District 4, And so this is on her social media. You can find this on her social media page. Type in her name, it will come up. Type in her name in the search engine and it will come up. But this information is on her page. So she has a nice page here that lets you know, okay, why are you running for Duval County School Board and what makes you the right person for this role? So she says the Duval County School District was a part of my life for 33 years. Currently, I am a retired teacher, an assistant principal. Therefore, serving the community as a professional in education is my life. However, as I speak, I am an advocate for education. I am a certified community leader as well. I have served on various committees at the United States White House, City Hall, and met with legislators concerning bills using my influence to sway opinions relating to educational issues. My affiliated organizations are the NAACP, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, and Black Women Education Leaders. So my voice is used to advocate for the youth, the elderly, educational issues, and economic issues. The position of being a board member would be a correction with what I am. Oh, would be Oh, it say correction would be a correction with what I'm already doing. The goal is to improve the community through meaningful efforts to use my voice to improve the education system. So that's Dr. Gracie Bell Kersey McAllister. She's in District 4. You can read more by going to her page. She has this. Yeah, she has about 2 pages like this of questions and then her answering them in regards to her policies. So she wants small class sizes and primary grades, quality teachers and materials at all levels, and increased teacher pay. So those are the 3 points that's listed down here at the bottom. So yeah, that's Dr. Gracie Bell. You can find her on social media and learn more about her policies. And we met with Clarence James earlier. So I was able to also find this about Michelle Petty. She's in District 6 as well. So this is from her social media. You can find that as well. Why I'm running for Duval County School Board. It's about our kids. Parent advocate community member. As a mom of two DCPS students, I know our schools succeed when families, teachers, and the community have a voice at the table. Focused on students. Every child deserves the opportunity to succeed. I will prioritize academics, student safety, and preparing our kids for a strong future. Supporting our educators, transparent, accessible, accountable, and community driven. So these are some of the things and policies that she's running on. I don't believe I found a website. I could be wrong, but there is some information about her candidacy on her social media page. So you can go on there and learn more. See if there was anybody else I got some information on. I don't think so. I think that was all that I got information on. Um, but it's out there. And then there's this forum that you can definitely attend. Let's go back over that. This is going to be Thursday, July 30th, the conference center at the main library, 303 North Main Street. The doors open at 6 p.m., but the forum begins at 6:30. So, yeah, I'm excited about this. The host will be Will Brown. And then there are two co-moderators. One is a junior from Fletcher High School, and one is a senior from Wolfson High School. So I think that's really nice that they're gonna, not nice, but good that they're gonna have the moderators be students in the schools, and hopefully they will have questions for the candidates that maybe their other peers have brought to them or something like that. So yeah, so that's our civic discussion for this evening. Wanted to drop a little bit of information about the school board and some of the candidates. And so stay tuned for next Wednesday. I'm definitely going to have more information, and hopefully we'll have a few more candidates come up before it's all said and done and come and chat with us. So I'm excited about that. Let's see. I thought this was interesting. Did you know this is presented by the Jacksonville branch of the NAACP? Churches still can endorse political candidates. What happened in 2025? The IRS, through the DOJ, agreed to a proposed consent judgment suggesting the Johnson Amendment wouldn't apply. But in March 2026, a federal judge dismissed the case. Because it was dismissed, the proposed settlement never took effect, meaning the Johnson Amendment remains active. The IRS says it will issue new guidance for houses of worship. I saw this and I was like, oh, I kind of want to talk about this because this was a question in my head as a young person, going to church, and I would see candidates come in, speak to the congregation a little bit. And then there would be no further conversation really about it, about who's the best candidate, what do the pastor think? What does the pastor suggest for the church to vote for, and things like that. Um, but I never heard them speak out. I would not hear pastors say, okay, I like this candidate, or church, congregation, here's who we're supporting. And so, of course, as I got older, I realized, okay, they can't really do that. They have to stay bipartisan, meaning they can't go for one person. They have to present, if they're going to allow one candidate to come and speak at the church, they have to allow all of the candidates to come and speak. And so I did think that was interesting that the Jacksonville NAACP branch posted this, you know, I guess as a reminder. I don't really know what was the purpose of the post, to let churches know, hey, you're not supposed to be endorsing political candidates out here. So, yeah, that was interesting. So, moving along. Like I said, I believe that was all of the events that I did have to discuss for this evening. I think I saved this one as well. It's not the right one. Hmm. Think this is it. Yeah. So the city of Jacksonville's fifth annual Disability and Adaptive Recreation Expo is going to be taking place in 2 days. It's going to be Friday, July 24th, 10 a.m. to 3 at the Prime Osborne Center. That's 1000 Water Street. So you can get more information at jacksonville.gov/disability expo. Um, but I did want to share this out, share this information. It's a free event, free parking. It's going to be a variety of exhibits and resources. engaging presentations, opportunities to connect with adaptive recreation programs and services. So anybody out there living with a disability is encouraged to join, is encouraged to come out and be a part of this on Friday. So I just wanted to share that. I think it would be a good opportunity to get some resources. We can never be without too many of those. So I believe that we have really gotten to everything that I wanted to discuss. Yeah, let's see. Jewels of the Future, we discussed it. The Aggie Awards, we discussed it. We went over some back to school events. Don't forget, you can email Duval Connect 2020 at gmail.com, and I will forward you all of these flyers and all of the information regarding these back to school events and even the forum. If you like some information on that, I can send that to you. The JTA community meetings, I have the flyers and dates. I can send that to you. And so yeah, I do. I think we basically just about hit everything that I wanted to discuss. And we'll come back next week with some more events, hopefully, a few more candidates to speak with. Um, yeah, please hit me up, Duval Connect 2020, if you have a topic that you would like to discuss. Last week, we talked about the Section 8 housing new requirements, the job requirements. There's been no update on that. When there is, I'll come back and share with you all. And I'm going to come back next week with the Angie update as well. Stay tuned for our blog. Tune in to it. It's duvalconnect.blogspot.com. And we've been following Angie, Jacksonville native, running for U.S. Senate since the beginning. And she's addressed a lot of things. She really speaks out on a lot of different policies. And so, last week we had breaking news regarding um, her going to court for this arrest, this trumped up charge or whatever. So if there's more updates, I'll definitely let you know. I did see, however, that she's come up in the polls and she's very close to her contender in the poll and in with the incumbent. So shout out to Angie Nixon. She's in the July challenge. I watched her speak with Faith in Florida here recently, and I'll be on Pasco Connect tomorrow sharing clips from Faith in Florida, their U.S. Senate forum that they had. So she was really speaking truth to power in that. So I would definitely advise you to go to Faith in Florida on YouTube, and you can find uh, that clip. Oh, it's not letting me put anything else up here. Sorry about that, y'all. Still learning this StreamYard thing. Yeah. So I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for those that will eventually watch it. Duval Connect magazine has been in circulation since 2020. And so there you can find our magazine on madcloud.com and search for Duval Connect magazine. You can connect with us on our blog, duvalconnect.blogspot.com. And you can subscribe for $2 a month at patreon.com/QCP, which stands for Queen Connect Publishing. And all of our magazines are found under there. And so when you subscribe for $2 a month, you receive all digital magazine issues for free, and you get a discount on the printed copies. You also receive a free digital copy of my book, my latest book, No Earthly Good. So, yeah, definitely do that. Connect with us. This is our second show. Hopefully, our shows will be picking up. We'll actually have some people in here while we're live. That will be wonderful, so. But until next time, I'll see you all next week. I hope you all have a blessed and beautiful week. Peace.